July 19th, 2020. The teenage-looking, frail but dreaded Jharkhand gangster Aman Sahu was hiding in a hotel. Even after a decade of his extortion mafia-dom, his kiddish engineered techie looks perhaps helped him evade capture by the police. But today, a special team led by Ranchi SSP Surendra Jha was waiting.
Sir, bottle का इंतजाम हो गया है.
As soon as Sahu opened the door to let the waiter in,
चल बे टेकी, खेल खत्म तेरा.
5 years later, March 11th, 2025, Raipur Central Jail, Chhattisgarh. As Aman Sahu was being ready to be produced in court, 6 of his gang members had hatched a plan to attack the convoy en route to free their leader.
यही सबसे बढ़िया जगह है. यही अटैक करेंगे.
9 p.m. the previous night, despite the cops goading Sahu,
क्यों बे, कल तेरी पेशी है. तैयार है ना? या फटके 4 हो गई.
the gangster had a grin.
इन बेवकूफों को तो मालूम ही नहीं मैं क्या करने वाला हूँ.
For he had personally orchestrated every detail of his escape plan over the phone from behind bars, from where the sly mafia don ran his extortion empire smoothly for the last 5 years. Just before leaving his cell that morning, he sent a text to his associates.
15 मिनट में यहाँ से निकलेंगे. तैयार है ना? ठीक है बॉस.
Then he drained his phone. His eyes diligently scanned the positions of the escorting police officers. With excitement, he stepped into the car, outwardly handcuffed but inwardly triumphant. 3 vehicles and a team of 12 ATS officers left Raipur Central Jail, heading for the NIA court in Ranchi, some 700 kilometers away, on a non-stop journey. Early the next morning, around 500 kilometers into the journey, near Chainpur police station in Jharkhand's Palamu district, as the convoy passed through the jungles of Andhari Dhoda Valley, Sahu's eyes attacked, hurling explosives and opening fire on the police convoy. Caught in the crossfire with bullets raining from both sides, Sahu snatched a rifle from a cop, shot him and the others while still handcuffed, and quickly fled with his gang members into the jungle. This was the plan, but things didn't actually unfold like this. No. When the cops were taking Sahu and leaving Raipur Central Jail, the responsibility to deliver him in court was entrusted to one DSP PK Singh, an encounter specialist, who had already dismantled Sahu's extortion network in Ramgarh. He was on high alert and noticed something suspicious in Sahu's demeanor.
ये साला इतना कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ कैसे चल रहा है?
And forewarned the accompanying squad.
Boys, alert रहो.
Of the 3 police vehicles that escorted him, one in the front, one in the middle in which Sahu was, and one at the back, the rear vehicle maintained a distance of about 200 meters, farther than the usual 100. When Sahu's eyes hurled explosives at the front vehicle, the blast forced it to brake abruptly. Then a crude bomb was thrown at the middle vehicle carrying Sahu. Seizing the moment, the gangsters opened fire on the cop from both sides of the road. However, third vehicle, which had stopped at a distance, took position and retaliated. Amid the chaos, Sahu snatched the constable's rifle and fired at him. But unlike in the plan, the bullet only grazed his captor's thigh and he survived. Sahu then jumped out of the vehicle and began firing indiscriminately. Bullets went flying near the retaliating police personnel, even as Sahu sprinted towards the jungle.
जेल से आजादी.
In the early 2010s, Sahu was a bright student with 78% in class 10 who then got a technical diploma in Mohali, Punjab. He went on to open a mobile repair shop to support his family, but local goons soon began harassing him.
चले, एक चार्जर और एक ईयरफोन दे. अरे भैया मेरे पैसे? पैसे चाहिए तुझको, हाँ?
However, a few days later, Sahu's patience snapped and he had a scuffle with one of the rowdies.
आज तो तेरे बाप से भी पैसा निकालेगा मैं.
This caught the attention of the band Jharkhand Sangharsh Janmukti Morcha. Marking the beginning of his descent into crime at just 17, Sahu joined gangland, doing to others what was done to him, making a name for himself in extorting money from a cement factory owner, then in the community at large.
अमन साहू नाम है मेरा. ज़्यादा नौटंकी करी ना तो निचोड़ दूंगा.
For the next many years, Sahu first teamed up with gangster Suraj Singh and then with Surjit. Together, they terrorized the region, extorting money from coal contractors, real estate dealers and factory owners. Those who refused. But in 2019, after many complaints against him, the police pounced on Sahu. But as it always happens, by allegedly bribing the station house officer, the SHO lodged him in the police station's guest room instead of a cell.
या बंद हो जा और enjoy कर छोटे.
That night, Sahu escaped through the ventilator, leaving the room locked behind him. Looking for revenge, the police piled a humongous 131 FIRs against him. But remember, he was tech savvy and continuously evaded capture by using hotspot devices with SIM cards obtained under fake identities, and even carried a portable jammer to avoid real-time tracking. That is, until SSP Surendra Jha pounced on him in that hotel room in 2020, when he along with his aide Sujit Sinha were both arrested and sentenced to 6 and 7 years in prison respectively. However, what was to worry, as by now he had purchased land, apartments, commercial buildings across Jharkhand under Benami names, purchased high-end vehicles for himself, his gang members and for his brother Akash Sahu, who managed the laundering of money through shell companies and cash-heavy land deal. He allegedly invested huge amount in Kathmandu hotels via his associate Narayan Thapa, and finds himself caught and in jail since the end of 2023. So you see how easily even behind bars Sahu's criminal empire thrived, even before one Sunil Meena alias Mayank Singh, a notorious gangster from Rajasthan, joined him, who was also a childhood friend of the infamous gangster Lawrence Bishnoi. From Malaysia, Mayank took over Extortion, calling coal contractors across Jharkhand, Bihar, Chhattisgarh and West Bengal. Like Lawrence Bishnoi uses social media, Mayank also used it to glorify Sahu, posting pictures of him with high-end weapons or money, arranging for the supply of AK-47s and Glock pistols from Bishnoi's network, and in exchange gave them trained shooters from Jharkhand. But 2 years later, police were able to identify Mayank's real identity through a transnational investigation and circled him for a hunt. So Mayank ran away to Azerbaijan and started operating from there, using his international base to launder extortion money via cryptocurrency and Hawala networks linked to Bishnoi's operations. Also exploring real estate opportunities in Singapore and Azerbaijan. Local operations, however, continued as both the Sahu and Lawrence gang reportedly shot at a builder's office in Raipur in a joint operation. Mayank even brought out the mafia PR playbook to popularize Sahu.
हर हफ्ते साहू भाई पर आर्टिकल होना चाहिए, वो भी फोटो के साथ, नहीं तो टैटुआ दबा दूंगा.
Perhaps because Sahu even nursed political aspirations, planning to contest the 2024 Jharkhand Assembly elections as an independent. However, his request was denied by the court.
क्या मजाक समझ रखा है? तुम्हारे ऊपर 100 से ज्यादा केसेस हैं.
A disappointed Sahu roared in jail.
अच्छा, और उधर जितने क्रिमिनल्स बैठे हैं राजनीति में, उनका क्या?
His deputy Mayank even bribed and threatened jail officials to make them cooperate.
तू सब कुछ छोड़ दे और ये हरे हरे नोट एंजॉय कर.
But on March 8, 2025, in Jharkhand's Hazaribagh, after their bike-bound henchmen killed a senior NTPC officer in his car in broad daylight, NTPC's coal operations came to a halt, leading to a huge public outcry that pressured the administration to transfer Sahu back to Jharkhand. Finally, the D-Day, March 11, 2025 arrived, when Sahu's wards attacked his convoy en route to court. But the ATS officers were prepared and engaged in a fierce exchange of fire. And before Sahu could escape in the woods, a bullet pierced his left thigh. He stumbled, blindly firing 5-6 rounds while crawling towards the dense forest. Cornered near a rocky outcrop, Sahu attempted to reload, but he was too late. Towering above him stood DSP PK Singh, his pistol pointing at his head. Sahu collapses, clutching his gun. When his associates saw the scene unfold, they fled into the dense forest out of police reach. With Suraj also dying in jail earlier due to dengue, the news of Sahu's death brought relief to dozens of businessmen, coal contractors and even police officers who were victims of his brutal crimes. In December 2024, Jharkhand's ATS got the Interpol to issue a red corner notice, and Mayank was also arrested in Azerbaijan and will soon be extradited to India. His interrogation is expected to pull out many more skeletons of Sahu's loot and its collaboration with Lawrence Bishnoi's syndicate. Bisbo's limerick. The harassed Techie beat back the goons that only saw himself turn into a gangster soon. But when his trial began, he hatched an audacious plan, an attack on his convoy, and escape inopportune. You will also find these sources listed in our video description section.